Yeah. No. So Jay, like, Hunter's trying to sign up to cast this land. He cast that last year, and he's telling you everything that's going wrong with the fact that he can't, sign up to, be like have his name put down for like people who are interested in casting. Hunter, can you send me a link to that real quick?
Oh yeah, sure thing. Yeah, 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 yeah. I would love to. I would love to send you a link.
Because I think it's really funny.
It's really funny. I didn't notice at first. I'm like, wait a second.
It's really funny what's happening here. Okay, yeah, I accept it all.
And you just go down to it's like halfway down the page, and yeah, just there.
Yeah, it just on the page promoting like, hey, come sign up to be a caster. Here's Hunter.
Just on there.
Oh, hey, look.
And then you need access. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, just time to put in your email again.
Oh god, I did. I put in a thing. I'm like, hey, did this last year. Would love to do it again. So if I don't get any access tomorrow, and be like, hey, hi person that brought me to do this last year, would love to do it again.
Would love to do it again, but you
It'd
know
be a
what?
lot of fun.
Can't do it. You're not letting me in.
I'm probably gonna go anyway, but be nice to cast again.
Hmm. You should just show up if you don't get the caster badge and just be like, yeah, guys, I'm here to cast. What's up?
To be fair, I was asked to do the same thing for Afterburner this last January, but I wasn't like brought in to be like official. I'd be on like a quads table basically, which to be fair would have
Oh,
still been cool, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try
uh,
for Afterburner in January this time
a
for
quad
realsies.
a quad cast though?
Yeah, for Smash, it's
Oh
makes
yeah,
way more sense than other stuff.
yeah. Fighting games, it makes more sense to have that. It like Jay, I imagine for you, or Meg, I imagine for you, especially having a lot of observers for some stuff. Having like 4 observers is chaotic, but at least it doesn't make it easier.
Um, I mean, I think solo is probably it's easier to do, but I
Mm.
think being in a team is always better because if your like PC freezes or something goes wrong, then someone can always take over and you know when we did the Nightmare games,
Mm.
me Mochi and me Blizzard or Blizzard, I didn't realize it was Michigan Blizzard until so recently, embarrassingly recently.
Me Blizzard.
Um, there were times when both of them had issues, and then it was just me solo observing, and that worked out like so well. Because
Mm.
even if it was two, then so it doesn't make it harder or easier, but I do prefer it. I definitely prefer having other people around.
Yeah, because like I said, it makes it a little bit easier. Keeps a lot of pressure off of. I imagine you be trying to get like the best angle for absolutely every shot.
Yeah, and like there's always stuff with margins and
Mm.
color, like getting the colorblind settings right, and also you can sort of chill a bit and watch the stream. And if you're like, say, you're POV observing the losing team,
Mm.
it's kind of nice because you don't actually have to do much. If you're always on the losing team, like if it's like a fast 3-0 stomp.
Mm.
So sometimes you get to just chill and watch the stream on your phone. Not that I would ever do that, of course.
No, not. I would never
Well,
have the stream up on my phone, sitting on my desk.
see, I feel bad for you guys because you got to be on it. Like that, unless we go to break, you got to be on it the whole time. Observers can kind of get away with it sometimes.
Uh, uh, Hunter, I mean, do you have a stream open when you cast?
I mean, my own, yeah, usually. Sometimes I'll have a different one up as well if it's like, hey, there's another game ongoing that's nice to like, hey, this is going on right now. But I don't know. I only really have it up and pay attention if it's like, man, this thing just happened and I know nobody's here to clip it, so I need to personally do it, and I'm not gonna remember in an hour, so
I can't do it where I have someone. I can't have it be like, okay, I'm casting, but having another stream up. Like I'll put my stream up or whatever stream I'm casting for. I'll have that stream up, but it'll be like maybe a quick glance every now and then while the other person's talking, just to see if anyone's saying anything. Because there's been times where I've definitely read the chat and like, hey, yeah, this person's name is pronounced this way, or people are making jokes in the chat, and it's kind of fun to talk about them like in the broadcast as well.
Yeah, for NSC, which is British Collegiate, basically. We had a game that was like Division 5, I think. It was like Seed 70 versus Seed 80, and one of their parents was watching the Twitch stream, and I got a message from someone who was in chat saying like it was a relative of someone, but that their daughter was playing and they really wanted to watch it. So I remember I just told Westy, who was the producer at the time, like just stay on me the whole time. And this person was, I think, playing Moira, and they had about 70% of the screen time. So I feel bad for the casters a little bit, but hopefully that was cool for them.
No, I imagine it really was just being able to watch their kid play. Because I mean, when I casted on my colleges for my college's team, like we were like whenever a parent came in, like we try to make or the observers at the time, which was I think just the coach. For the most part, would try to make sure their kid was getting shown off a lot. And we were also kind of told that we had to very much explain it to the parents through our broadcast or through our cast every time. But
yeah, it's not like Rocket League or Counter-Strike, where it's sort of a little more obvious what's going on. But I feel like you guys have to be on it way more than observers do, you know.
Yeah, there's times I feel like there's definitely times where it's like a little bit easier, or I mean, where we don't have to necessarily be as on it. Sometimes I guess it really just depends on the role, if it's color or if a play-by-play or if you're flexing with it. But I think the hardest thing, at least for me, sometimes is like I'm focusing in on the game, and maybe a little bit too much, is that I just start to tune out the other caster, and I'm like, oh wait, fuck, I need to be paying attention to what this dude is to what they are saying, so I can continue it.
Yeah, I didn't even think. Is there like an agreed upon harder role between play-by-play and color?
Um, I don't think there is. I don't think so, but like I'm comfortable flexing between the two of them. I think play by play, and I think Hunter can attest to this a little bit more. Would definitely be like you have to be more in the moment and just paying attention to almost everything a little bit, or everything that you can see. While color, it's kind of like you can just watch it and then describe it. Describe it in a short amount of time and then say okay, but you gotta move on from that, start building up the next fight. But again, there's still some hard times with color. But Hunter, what do you necessarily think when it comes to casting? Like, what's the harder role?
We've had this conversation a couple times as to what's harder, and it very much, I think, varies from person to person. And I think this is why we kind of encourage, like, hey, try out both roles, see what you like. If you think you like this project, try it out, see how.
Oh no.
But generally,
no.
oh no,
We're getting some. Oh, I think you're back. There was
You're back.
some
oh, I
roboticness
think
in there.
yeah, I think I had some issues with my cam for a second there, and it tried to default to that mic instead. So that would
Oh,
explain part of it for sure. I'm alive though. I am still here. Where was I? I
Ohio.
almost hold a buckle. Yeah, it sucks here. But but no, God, it's tough because in my perspective, I would say color is a bit harder. And the reason why I would say that is especially with a game like Overwatch where things will just happen. Things can happen in a blink of an eye, in a single move, a single second. You need to be able to hand things off properly in a situation like that. And when you have an experienced duo, it's like, yeah, that works out pretty well. But especially if it's someone you haven't worked with very much before, being a color that knows the proper time to hand things off instead of either like leaking. That's like, oh, the fight's basically already over, and it's like, well, the play-by-play doesn't really have a job to do anymore, so they have to basically do their own color because the fight's already done. It's really convenient to have somebody that knows the right time to let things go. And even if the play-by-play goes a little bit over, thankfully there is at least a decent amount of downtime in a lot of fights with Overwatch. So I don't know. I would say color is the more difficult to roll, but I don't think it's completely black and white.
That's interesting. I would have said play by play, like as someone who's never done it, I would have said play by play be way harder, just because of I'm just thinking in my head of all the like shoutcast moments, and you can't. It's very obvious if someone trips up over their words, mid intense play, like if there's a nano blade or something. And whereas color, it's sort of, I guess if you already have a good feel for the game and you kind of know what the meta is, then I can see that. But it must have been really hard to be a color caster when like Cat Bastion first happened, because no one for like a week had, even the pro players had no idea what was going on.
I feel like when that first happened, it was just more of a thing of like, we're just gonna sit here and watch this. Like, this is fucking wild. Like, is this gonna work? Will the players look up? And now it's just become a staple, which is fun.
Yeah.
It really sucks for observers. I can say that much.
Yeah, because it's awful to either POV or third person on a free cam on it, because it's like, who the cat is gonna be just zooming around trying to get the Bastion into a spot where they can get a lot of damage out and not die in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, the cat is basically unwatchable. The Bastions, if you can kind of in your head track when they each have Bastion form and guess when they're gonna go in, but like if you get it wrong, you can just end up watching a fight and a Bastion's just staring at a roof. And it's like, well, this sucks. And yeah, free cam, it's like the fight's happening all the way at the bottom of your screen, and then there's another fight happening all the way at the top, and it's so hard to catch everything. So personally, I sort of just hope nothing interesting happens and try and predict one or the other. But it's so hard. I hate it.
I would imagine, but wait, let's ask you the same question. Like, what's the harder role for you when it comes to observing? Is it first person or third person or / free cam? Like, what's the harder one in your opinion?
Free cam, I think, by like a billion miles. It's so POV. You can, I think POV as well. You can get lucky. There's always pre-fight. You can always sit on a hit scan, or maybe like I remember when I was with Quick, Yoham was always good for a pre-fight pick on Kiri. Like if someone has an ult, it's easy to watch them. Whereas free cam, it's not always obvious where the fight's going to happen, and also to know where the fight's going to happen and make it look good. And then to say to your director, like, oh, I'm going to rotate now and I need to find this, and then go to overhead and figure out when the point's going to flip so you can show that. It's definitely a lot less. I think you need a lot less Overwatch knowledge. A lot less, like, hard to describe, but you need a bit more of a cinematographer's eyes to do it. Whereas with POV, you just need to know Overwatch.
Be on the right person at the right time. Yeah, like, and like we can ask Hunter a little bit about that, because he does with the Faceit stuff that we do, the observing on his own for the most part. Granted, you have come in, I believe we've had a lot of people come in to help out for certain games and certain events, but when it's just me and Hunter for the most part, it's him doing the all the observing on it, and he does a little free cam every now and then, but it's just in between rounds. And the first person, Hunter, I would have to imagine, like, it's a lot easier because I know it is as well, but like you still have that little challenge of being able to find the right person and the right person that shows off the fight if they're not necessarily the one, doing all of the fighting.
Yeah, it's like some are just generally obvious. Like, hey, if you're going to a fight, and just for instance, one team has like the nanoblade ready to go, the other team has a Lucio sound barrier. I'm putting that boy on that Lucio first to wait and see what happens, and then when that blade goes off, and then you can kind of hit that reaction. It's, I don't know, maybe I'm making it sound more complicated than it has to be, but I think it's nice to have that kind of view of like that Genji coming in, seeing the nano go up in the air, and then you can kind of make that judgment call whether to swap at that second or not. Sometimes it is tougher because you can't predict when someone's just going to do some batshit insane move, and you just have no clue they're going to do it. It's like, oh, they did that. Why did they do that? And better question, why did it work? And now we don't have that shot. So sometimes it's better if you know the players like exceptionally well in terms of how they play. Where it's like, okay, I would expect somebody to do this. Like if I'm casting like World Cup and I see Glacier OW out there, I know this man's gonna try to hit the thickest shatter the moment he has that ultimate online. So I can expect that and I can like observe off of that. But someone like, I don't know, Silver Pizza 96, don't know what they're going to do. Not a dang clue at all.
Yeah, I think what you were saying with like the Genji Nanoblade shot's really interesting because that's where one of the few points where being a solo observer is almost better because you can sort of direct it yourself, you know. If you can free cam before a fight and then if you think, okay, Nanoblade's definitely gonna happen, you can sort of frame the Genji in the middle and make sure you're watching him and then as he dashes up, go to him and it always looks really nice and you don't have to sort of worry about being on free cam before that and then cutting to, you know, your one or two observer.
Hmm.
Um, but the vast majority of my work has been solo. It's only sort of more in the last sort of 6 months, I get 2026 really, that I've done POV or free cam working on bigger productions.
Oh, hey, that's. Do you like work? You've already answered the question. You like working with other people there, but like, are you more still a little bit more comfortable doing that solo stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think a lot of it's a lot of Overwatch. I think like 70% of the games are 3-0s.
Mm.
I don't I wish I like tracked this better, but um if it's a really close game, I don't like being solo because you're on your own. You can kind of it's on you at all times to catch everything. Whereas if it's like a really long like I remember there was a map 7 in the Copper America with Canada and USA,
Mm.
and I was doing that solo, and it was like a 2.5 hour game, and it was a fun to do. It was a really good game to watch, but I was just so tired by the end of it, and I can't imagine what the players felt like.
Yeah.
And there have been other games like Nightmare versus Extinction, where I was with a team of two other really, really good people, and it
Mm.
felt that went to map 5. That I think it went to map 5, but it was a long game regardless, and that was so much more fun and so much more enjoyable because I felt I was much more in the game. I wasn't constantly thinking about getting angles on the next fight. I was able to enjoy it a bit more, you know, as a spectator sometimes rather than as a working on it.
Yeah, no, like I completely understand that. I believe me and Hunter kind of understand that a little bit as well when we have to do our own solo stuff when it comes to casting and observing. Like you're tired after, I mean, hell, even 3-0s sometimes, especially when we're working uh, by ourselves. Like you get tired because you're focusing on casting, you're focusing on making sure you're not swapping to someone who's dead and then swapping to another person who's dead, and then oh hey, let's go to the third person. You get to them the moment you swap to them, they die. It's always a really fun challenge, and you're also just trying to watch the entire stream as well, make sure everything's working on your end here. It's like it's fun doing stuff solo, but like I having someone else there, it just like you kind of said, it makes it, especially when you're working with really talented people as well. In those long series, it kind of takes a little bit of, I guess the right word would be pressure, and not necessarily make it as much of a big effort into it.
Yeah, I feel so bad for my casters whenever I'm, you know, mid fight and I spectate someone dead, and I'm like, wow, these guys for like a good 5 seconds there, these guys had nothing to talk about, but I'm always amazed at how little that like bothers you because sometimes I like unless I do like the sacred free cam on Numbani,
Mm.
um, in the attacker spawn, sometimes I've like really messed it up, and then the stream will be on a 2 minute delay, and the casters don't even like notice it, or they just keep going, and that I couldn't do that. I would be shouting at my observer if I was a caster.
I think depending on who, I think it's really depending on who you're working with and how comfortable you are with them. And Hunter can have his like say what he wants to say about this as well after what I say. It's like if you can just riff off each other, if you can keep a conversation going, if you're talking about something that's been very important in the series, having those little mistakes, or not necessarily mistakes, having those little things happen in the middle of either a game or just kind of a dead period, you're able to just kind of power through it. Like it just becomes something like, okay, like, hey, you can tell something's going on, but like in the middle of a fight, if it kind of gets stuck on someone who's died, it's like, hey, you kind of can tell where everything's going with it. You can kind of make a good prediction, and you can kind of still look at the player icons and what their health are, what their health pool is, if they have ults, and then kill feed as well. Just kind of get a good idea of what all is happening and be able to kind of continue like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why sometimes it is difficult when you have that moment where it's like, all right, like this is the person I'm on, this is the person that I'm gonna swap to if this person goes down. Or you make the swap of like, oh, this person got the elim, you swap to them, you go and swap to them, they immediately die. You swap to the person that killed them, they die immediately. You're just swapping to dead bodies one after another. Unintentionally, it's like, okay, I'm on like my 5th dead body. It's like I need to stop. Let me just go. Let me just zone out for a minute, see what I can do. And that is the hard part when you are soloing, is I observe a lot. I would not call myself an observer. I just do it a lot by myself because I need to do it by myself. I need to learn how to do it. But it's a lot harder than people think at the end of the day, because anyone can just like, all right, I'm watching this person now, have fun. And there will be times where I forget, oh yeah, I'm observing, so I'll be on the same person for like 20 seconds of like, man, nothing, why is anything? Oh shit, that's right, this is me. I'm supposed to be doing this. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should change people. And I don't know. That's the pain of doing it while you're casting as well. You gotta focus on one eventually, and the other will sometimes not be in the forefront of your mind.
Always gotta. It's always funny when you're, especially when we're doing the solo stuff. It's like, why is the observer not swapping? Oh fuck, I'm the observer.
Dude,
Does that make? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, does doing, being a one-man show and doing the prod, the casting, the observing, does that almost make everything, I mean, you're juggling way more, but does it make sort of everything easier because any problem you're having is sort of solvable by you? There's not, if you can observe and then you can, if you say you want to talk about a nanoblade or you want to sort of make a narrative in the game, you can sort of force that to happen on the screen by watching, like, if we're talking about a nanoblade, by watching the Genji or watching the Ana give the nano, then the blade. And then I know sort of doing prod stuff might be really hard with that, but do you find casting easier or harder if you're, solo casting easier or harder if you're the observer? Sort of goes out to both of you.
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, because it does help you kind of control the narrative a lot better. Where if I want to talk about, uh, you, you see, oh, Shinigami has Blade ready to go, and I get to talk about, oh, yeah, Blade's ready. And in my mind, I think I've played this game long enough, watched it long enough to know, like, hey, this is what probably is going to get used in this fight, and you can kind of just react accordingly to that, and you can hope everything lines up. But I think the one thing about it is that, like, if you have a full crew together, it's like, oh, if one caster goes out, it's like, oh, okay, they'll be back soon. Person just takes over solo. If one of your observers goes out, it's like, oh, okay, we're just gonna be free camming, or we'll just throw it on players and do that. If you're doing it all by yourself, if something happens with you, everything dies. And Dex knows this. I've had a couple times on my old internet where Hunter disappears for a minute, stream goes down. It's like, well, there's not a single thing this man can do about it. I am just out of luck. All of us are out of luck, and I'm like, all right, I'm back. Let's do it again. At least I know if I go down, if I'm just casting with someone and there's a full production crew, I could trust, okay, they're going to be able to handle their own for a few minutes while I get back online. So I don't know. It's a give and a take. It's great to control narrative, but it is unstable. The fact that I am not a professional observer. I am not a professional producer. I like casting. I like to think I'm good at it, but doing all three at once you get used to it, it's fine. But I've seen people that have like done a lot more of the faces stuff the last several months and watched them get used to it as well.
I think at least for me, it's always the big thing of like, because I can't watch my stream like at the same time that I'm doing it. There's always that thought in the back of the mind saying, "Hey, does everything sound good? Am I too loud? Am I too quiet? Is the game too loud? Is there game noise? Do I have everything connected right?" Like I'm more concerned about all that than I am about necessarily getting the right stuff on screen. And yeah, you do try to create a narrative with it, but it's like I still haven't necessarily gotten used to doing a lot of stuff by myself. So to compensate for the fact that I'm solo casting and doing everything, it's like I need to constantly keep talking. I need to constantly just keep myself engaged into what's going on, because my fear is if I take even a second to catch my breath, I'm going to lose track of something. I'm going to lose my thought, and it's going to be like, okay, I can't shut up. I just need to keep going a mile a minute here, which is one thing that I think if you watch any of the people who do face it a lot, who are solo, it's like they understand when they can stop talking. I don't. So it's the challenging thing, and also because I have such an awkward setup that I finally got rid of towards the end of last season for Face It when I was solo casting, where I would just sit down, so I didn't have to bring like 2 boxes into my office so I could move my keyboard and mouse up, because I normally stand when I cast. So it was very awkward because my hands were very low, and it was like, okay, I'm kind of hunching over to move or to be able to, observe the game. So it's interesting, but I think controlling the narrative is a fun part of it. But at the same time, it's like, I have this narrative I'm trying to set up, but I want to still maybe find something that could happen a little bit more than what I'm building up, and most time that's backfired on me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
But I will say this. Let me actually intro this podcast, because we're 27 minutes in and I haven't done that yet. Everyone welcome back to the 75th episode of For the Love of Prod.
Hey.
As always, I'm joined by Huntertain. Megalass, she's not here, as you can tell. I haven't heard from her, but I hope she shows up. And our guest this week is Mag. Mag, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is pretty normal for us to have a very delayed start. Or not delayed start, delayed intro.
Yeah, I did watch a couple of these, and there was like sort of 10 minutes in, and then you were like, "Oh yeah, hi, by the way, I'm Bullskunk." I really enjoyed that, but yeah, no, it's really nice to be here.
Yeah, and that's like the running bit with when we start the podcast. It's like I just hit record when we're mid conversation, and just don't tell. Like Hunter and Mega have a good idea of when it gets started at some point. But it's always really funny when I say, "Hey, like we've been going for 14 minutes," and then there's the quick realization of both of them, like they have to think back and say, "What the fuck did we talk about 14 minutes ago? What did I say? What's on tape forever?" Actually, what's on the tape forever, except for last week where I had to get rid of a minute and a half.
Yeah, I don't know why that would happen.
Still cannot say why. Our guest last week has he has some insider information on Face It rosters for next season, and he kind of leaked where one player was going. I was like, well, fuck, we can't. Like he even said, like, yeah, can you delete that? I was like, sure, sure. And they was like, well, since we are already gonna delete it, let me explain it even further here. I was like, cool, gotta delete more time now.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't like off the rip shit talk anyone, being like, "This, you guys ever work with this caster? Man, they fucking suck." I'm very glad I didn't do that.
You want to shit talk Luau?
Luau. Oh, Luau fucking sucks. Luau. I want Luau's head on a spike. I hate Luau. Every time I join a server, I knew it would happen here. Every time I join a server for a prod, they're always there first, and it's always what did he say when I joined here? Let me check. Fuck's sake, you have Jay. Anybody but Jay. Don't ask him where he was on January 6th. Like, what's wrong with him?
I do love how I'm just like accumulating a small pile of Luau memes. This is the most recent addition to the
Yep.
memes. I
Yep,
love that one.
Authored by yours truly, I believe, right before the missing a Gave Garfo game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I have many. I think you might have seen my spam, but I've got many prod related gifs.
Oh god,
Yeah.
I need to go back and find those because those are good. Where did we do that in the frenzy? Yeah, we did that in the frenzy one.
Yeah, we have a ton of ones just sitting in the frenzy. I still love the Kachow one. Still one of my favorites.
Which is the Kachow one?
This is the Kachow one. I love that way. Twitch title.
Yeah, there's literally hundreds of these. I feel like this is not very good podcast content because these are all in the background, but there are.
I could maybe figure this out here. Let's see. I could window capture just the Discord. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Discord.
That's a good one, actually. I need that. Another addition to my collection.
Yeah, let me drag that off screen here for a brief moment because I don't need that up. Never mind, I can't drag it off screen. I can't stop streaming either. Goddamn. Whenever I see that text, the only thing I fucking think of is Horse Plinko.
I still have Horse Plinko. I love it. But I'm not getting any of you. Here's my Horse Plinko. There it is.
Fucking. Does Respawn have just an entire like database of fucking memes?
These are all sort of while we're waiting because these players delay so long for Faceit games that I'll sort of sit and just whatever happens while we're waiting because observers kind of have nothing to do before a game starts. You know, if my settings are all correct and my feed looks good, then I'm sort of sitting around waiting. So I'll just make these, and then I think Luau and Friday and a couple of people. You know, they're starting. Some of them are starting to spread.
What the fuck?
I've got a pretty good. Don't even know what that one is.
I love that one. That is Spamton, H Spamton from Deltarune turning into the mom from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Make sure you guys celebrate Spamton Saturday, by the way. It's a very important holiday.
That one's a classic.
It is a classic. It's a classic.
What the fuck are we getting on to here now?
I'm not in whatever this is referencing. I've got no idea, which I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
I can't wait to see it.
Listen, let's see.
Oh, that one was used a lot during the Nightmare thing, and I don't know why.
Because we kept forgetting to raid Bullskunk. Whoever had control of the Nightmare Twitch channel, wasn't like in the VC.
Oh yeah, that's right. Luau had the stream key, which technically you could raid from OBS.
Yes, but I think whoever was supposed to do the /raid command was just like live tweeting the game, but Nightmare have got like 1 billion teams and 1 billion games, so they weren't on the. It's Tycho, who's really, really nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Tycho. I believe it's Tycho, who is gonna be someone I try to get on this podcast here soon.
That would be. Have you had who? I'm looking down the list of the people that you've had before, and it's like pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Have you had Mochi? Obius
Yes.
Mochi? Obius
Yeah.
Cacao?
Oh yeah.
Mochi's in here.
Yeah. I think she's OWCS bound, you know. I think she's whenever one of these observers finally retires, I think she's probably gonna go. She's got like such a crazy passion
For
for it, and
legal
like
reasons. For legal reasons, this is a joke. How do we kill Sean?
that's what I'm saying. For legal reasons, this is not a joke. We got to do this ASAP.
Unfeatured. Watch your back, man.
If you see a dog in a superhero mask coming for you, don't just know it was me.
Isn't that an MF Doom mask?
It is, yeah, but I think it's from a. Listen, it's a bit of a. I'm a bit of a larper. I never read any of the Doctor Doom comic books.
Doctor Doom. Is it Doctor Doom?
I think it's a Doctor Doom mask that he kind of.
It is Doctor Doom.
I think it is, right?
Yeah.
But I think it like became more synonymous with him.
Yeah, one of his masks did, and then Marvel kind of messed with it.
Yeah, I did. I actually worked with OBS Sojourn for the first time. Let me see if I can find the date. It was called Battle of the Bottoms, which is an incredible name for a show match.
Yep.
That was October last year. Dill Ducks Quick Esports.
Yep. Classic.
Yeah, it was a pretty Dill Ducks won pretty easily. But yeah, that was a really enjoyable production to have. We had Boomstocks, Bullskunk, Capitology, and then Ob Sojourn, Blizzard, and Luau was producing as well. And that was really, really fun. I think the first time I really experienced how you're supposed to actually do it instead of sort of me going off what felt right, you know, hearing her and Blizzard really like, because they're like hard comming everything they're seeing and who's advantaged and when they're rotating everything, and that was the first time I'd really experienced that. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. So listen,
you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So OBS Sojourn was supposed to be on this podcast at one point, but the week we had set it up, I did not set it up. This was one of the handful of people that had been brought in not by me for the podcast. And the week that we had it set up to have her on, it was like, hey, she was really busy doing OWCS stuff and she wanted, you know, a day to kind of recoup. And we were like, hey, perfectly fine. We'll try again later. And then 2 months go by. And we're like, okay, hey, no OWCS. Let's try to reach back out to her. And I reached back out to her. I think someone else did as well, whether it was Hunter, whether it was Mega. I don't remember. But I didn't hear anything back. I don't know if anyone else heard anything back. And then she just left the server. Like, she was in the server. She was in the server, and we had it ready to go for her. But then I think just work got in the way.
Yeah, I don't know. This might have to be. I'm trying to think. You can cut this out later. But she did go to Fisher College fairly recently. I don't know if that was tied in with the start of the academic year. I know that when they cut back from 8 to 6 teams, she was pretty rightfully angry that the amount of games she was doing was way, way, way shorter, because obviously you're missing out on it's like 50%, right? Because you have a 1 week short regular season and another week off of playoffs. And no promotion relegation. Yeah. I think no proper stream for that, and they cut back on so much stuff. So she thought, full-time Overwatch isn't going to do it anymore, so she went to college. I don't know if that's.
I don't think it was around that. I don't think it was around that time. But if it was, then it makes sense. And we've talked about before. Maybe not during the podcast, but definitely during some of like the pod reviews we've done, where it's like, hey, if someone doesn't want to come on, or if they are just busy, it's like, we completely understand. We're no ill will to them here.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
and she's got like a full YouTube channel and a full team of people that make those. I imagine that she rarely has a day off.
Yeah, and I did see that she did help Mochi or OBS Kachal find tickets to BlizzCon.
That was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, FOMO sucks. FOMO really fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does. It
It,
does.
it does.
um, but I'm not paying like what's like $300 tickets or something or
They
more.
they were originally $300. I don't know what the resale market
Yeah.
looks like.
More
Yeah,
than 300.
Yeah,
Tell you that.
the ticket just to the convention itself was $300, and then it was like an extra $50 add-on to get the World Cup stuff.
yeah, and Team GB didn't even make it, so
Yeah.
what a waste. What a shame. But oh well, that's my cope as to why. That's my cope to the FOMO is that I don't even care because my team didn't make it, so who cares? It's a
Yep.
if we're not in it, it's not a real tournament.
Don't worry. We're in it, but a 1v1 tournament decided that we face South Korea immediately. For the third time, by the way, in main event history. We have to face South Korea first.
Hold on,
Crazy.
I just want to look this up. How often has Britain actually made it?
Decently consistently.
We did beat the US one year, but I think some of the old World Cups were like, no disrespect to some of these older players, but they were like pretty fake.
Yeah,
Like,
I know
I think,
they've topped because they made top 4 one year because they beat, I think, was it they beat China in the third place game or faced China in the third place game? One of the two. But I know
we
at
we
some point.
we lost to Canada. We beat the US round 1, and then we lost to Canada in the third place match in 2018.
Oh, okay. Then what am I thinking of? Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of 2018. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is the first time we haven't made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
Right?
sure.
2019 was weird because there wasn't like the two things where there were just 10 teams there.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, did you not make it to the original one, or was that just the pure invitational one? Oh no, that
Well, I
was
think
they qualified
some
for
of
it.
the
There was a qualification for that. Okay.
some of the old World Cups were like creator stuff, right? Like we had there were like Stylosa was on one of the Team
Oh
UK
yeah.
teams.
Yeah, like this is the 2016 one. Great Britain's not even here, unless I'm blind. But no, they're not even here. Chile's here though.
No, we went I found the page for it. We went 1-3 in the Europe qualifiers with Stylosa, Numlocked,
Oh
Cruise,
God,
and Real ZX.
that's crazy.
And we got grouped by Finland and Iceland.
Finland, who has always been able to put on a good roster, legit had a bunch of people from that went to play on like in the Overwatch like 2 years later. Like most of them did. Like Taimu, Linkser, and Mafu. That's a rough group. And there's so many of these countries that have like not competed since then. At least there's a couple of them.
Shout out Singapore.
Shout out Soggy.
I guess Chile as well, but yeah.
Good old Chile.
Yeah, but okay, getting back on track now with the podcast. We're now 43 minutes in.
Yes.
Let's actually get to the two questions that we normally ask, maybe within the first 15, 20 minutes, but 43 minutes, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Mag, these are two questions we ask every one of our guests here. They're back-to-back questions. When I tell you the first one, you're going to probably be able to figure out what the second one is pretty quickly here. And if you kind of fade into it or lead into it as you're talking, no big deal. But we just want to know what got you into esports, and more specifically, what got you into doing stuff in esports productions?
So, what got me into esports? Well, I've always been, I pre-ordered Overwatch in 2016 and played it on my Xbox, and I've always had an interest in Overwatch. It's pretty consistently. And then the Overwatch League was promoted in the game, so I found out about that. But I was never really, I was aware it existed, but I never really, would tune into the streams or find out when it was live. It wasn't actually until 2023 where I really got into the sort of behind the scenes, or really got involved, because I saw it was actually a Super video where he's trialing for Team USA, and it was the first time I'd ever seen what a scrim environment was like, because they were doing tryouts, and I just thought it looked so much fun. It just felt like really something I had to do. And I'd always had this sort of background vague interest, so I just found a team, started scrimming, and then tried to be a player. I did recently get a Liquipedia page, which I'm very happy of, but I'm not very happy with the results page from when I did play. So it was kind of, I would play with my friends. I was on a team. The best thing I ever got was 29th in a open qualifier back when it was, open qualifiers and then 16 teams. Um, and that was on a team with, quite bizarrely, Zox, before he was, Team Saudi Arabia, Al Qadzia. And then through that, I kind of met some people from the UK collegiate scene. And this is how I got into observing, was for some reason, someone I knew from the University of Salford, which is in Manchester, asked me to just last minute if I was able to observe a game, and I didn't really know what that was. So I ended up doing it, kind of enjoyed it, liked it, and then I sort of kept getting dragged into other stuff. As you do, I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. Just sort of, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And then so this was Westy. You must have met him or worked with him before. I mean, I haven't seen him for a little bit because I think he does real life prod now. But yeah, really, really nice guy, really clever. And he introduced me to Nordic E-League, which I did season 1 of that, where I met a guy called Tobias. And Tobias owns Quick Esports.
Oh.
So I then went and did a bunch of Quick Esports games for their season 4, which also, a coincidence, that was the Quick Esports that had, let me check the roster, Dip, Zydra, Willis, Natsuki, Yoham. Dip obviously just beat Korea. Willis took America to map 5. Really, really good players for, Face It Masters, and they ended up winning. So that was really cool to be there, and then sort of, it snowballed a bit, and then I met a bunch of different casters, producers, and then I met Senju and did the Copa America. And by that point, I was getting sort of, maybe it was a bit more here and there, but getting paid to observe felt really cool, getting on big streams. I did, a year after I stopped playing, I did the open qualifiers for this year, for Commander X's stream. And that was probably the one I'm most proud of, and the one I'm happiest with doing. I don't know if you remember the game where Ryan was at a PC cafe, and it was at like 2 a.m. and they had to kick him out. And he was like, they had to win in 3 maps, or they'd have to FF their spot in OWCS. And it was I think it was me and Bullskunk and 1 or 2 others in the lobby. And I remember going crazy in Commander X's chat, because I was obviously, my YouTube unlisted stream was on a 2-minute delay. So I was typing in his chat everything Ryan was saying, and sort of so many co-streamers somehow found the link to my unlisted stream. I think Commander X had put it somewhere. And that was really cool to go back and see a lot of the reactions to my observe, which I was solo for. And then in map 3, I caught an Ajax from Priplet's perspective, which, I had some. It was really cool to go back and see like all the co-streamers like start screaming and that. And then from that, and that was start of 2026, and since then I've just, paid, unpaid, whether it's got a Liquipedia points attached or whatever. I just love doing it, and I will continue to keep doing it for the foreseeable.
Yeah. And like, especially like you were working with Commander X, you said, right?
Yeah. He asked me to do just be a solo observer, and he would get me into all of the games. This was, I think, before they had really refined the Face It system where you could request.
Yeah. What was it kind of like actually to be like working directly with one of the, I'm gonna say probably one of the biggest like content creators and personalities, at least within just the Overwatch competitive scene?
It was cool. We met initially through OWTV because I've done some behind the scenes stuff for that. Sort of when it was earlier on. I just applied and we met, and then he was co-streaming the games, and I sort of happened to catch a message. But I was really nervous the first time I did it because it was, I'd done Face It Masters finals before, but now I was in front of, instead of maybe 100 people for a big game for Quick, it was now 2,000 people, and it was GK versus, another really top tier 2 team. And I knew that any mistake I made would be really, really obvious. And it was for both EMEA and NA regions, so there was like so many games so quickly one after another. And some of them I was joining, a map in, a map late. So it was I very rarely get nervous doing it, but especially for that game with Lunex. I think they were called something weird at the time, but with Lunex, I remember that was so late at night. It was really nerve-wracking, but once I was done, I was just so happy, and I went back through all, Derpy had my clean feed, and he made a comment about my observing, which if you get a compliment on your observing, that's pretty hard to get. Like Capitology and Anian and a couple of other people were there watching it. KSA, Funny Astro, Psycho, and someone else were also on the clean feed because they wanted to see who qualified. And that was kind of surreal because, again, I'd got into this through Overwatch League and watching maybe Durfee, not as much as a pro player, but some of the other people. And, Alpha Yi as well. This is a sort of unrelated to the Commander X question, but Alpha Yi saw me as a spectator and got me confused with the Korean mag. So he said, and this is possibly, I think I peaked when I got the screenshot because he said OMG mag. And I had to quickly tell him,
not that one.
I'm not the Korean mag. I'm a British observer. I'm sorry. I have these saved. Here we go. So I think my heart went to like 200 BPM because obviously Alfie is like one of the best players I've ever observed. Maybe Simple. So I said, I'm English observer, not real mag. Sorry. And then he says like, yes, Z, 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 Z. And he starts speaking Korean to me because he thinks I'm joking. And then Ziad and Aid, who's the coach for GK, and I think he was a coach for a bunch of other teams. They were both getting on to me about how I'm not a co-streamer, I'm just a guy. And I was like, no, I'm doing it for Commander X and Hunter. And then Aid says something about how Hunter is so hot, or something. Yeah, Hunter's so hot.
Dear God.
So I forwarded all of that onto Hunter, and that was that was a very fond memory to be for Alfie to recognize me as someone he's never met. And yeah, even a bunch of the other games as well. Let's see. Yeah, doing Alcadzia versus Mew 3. That was a really fun one to watch. Amplify, I see you got an Amplify, Iliad Artemis. Dildux Amplify. Anyone's Legends, which are now 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of. Versus Bright Future.
Someone pick them up, please. Please tell me someone's picking them up.
Yeah, please. I have no insider knowledge, but yeah, that was probably, and that was 2 streams over 2 days that were both like 12 hours long. But there were big, between EMEA and NA, there were big gaps. So I streamed Minecraft. So I just did Minecraft speedruns between the games. And because Commander X had really nothing to watch, he was sort of just stalling. He was just streaming my Minecraft speedruns to 600 viewers. Which, again, if you're not a normal streamer, normally you let someone else do it. But yes, having your terrible Minecraft gameplay be streamed to 600 people. Yeah, we're 10 hours deep.
10
I'm
hours
really
deep.
tired.
You still have the
I'm really
Overwatch
tired.
overlay on. Overwatch is looking a little different now.
And he was like partially just talking about old stories and like casting it, and yeah, it was really cool and to work with him, and obviously he's a really good caster. He's really good like stream personality as well. You know, to keep when you've got such a busy chat and people are asking him questions, you know, that's really hard to keep on top of. And no, that was really cool. Very very grateful for that. And also, I have a habit of adding a bunch of players that I'm in lobby with to try and curate the weirdest friends list anyone has. And that was a pretty good. Alfie turned me down, I think, after he realized I was a fraud.
You just needed not. All you had to do was just not say anything and send the friend request.
I should have. Well, he approached me. I should have spoke back in Korean to him.
Do you know Korean?
Not at all. No, I could probably misspell Annyeong Haseo, and that's about my limit.
That's why you need MI Blizzard. I think he knows
Korean?
some Korean. He went to Korea. He did a study abroad in Korea.
Yeah.
You're telling me this a year too late.
No, I think while this was all going on, he was in Korea.
Oh wow, when this was
yeah, like probably when you were doing this entire stuff, I think MI Blizzard was in Korea.
This was March 1st. Yeah, end of February, start of March. So yeah, maybe.
No, he was back home by then. He was back home by then. Never mind.
So he could have helped me out.
Yeah, he could have helped you out.
Well, who knows? Maybe 2027 Open qualifiers. Who knows what will happen?
Yeah, but I want to touch on one thing you talked about there, just the nervousness of working, especially with like a big content creator like Commander X. But I would still say this, like, especially for me and Hunter casting big events, there's always that little thing of nerves going into it, because it's, you know, there's going to be more people watching you than normal. You never know who's going to be watching. You want to put on a good show. Like, we have told this story a couple times on this podcast when me and him did the season 5 playoffs for Face It on the official stream. That was on OW Esports Twitch. We did not talk to each other at all about the nerves beforehand going into it, but we both had the same thought of, okay, we are going to be really fucking nervous going into our first map. Let's just have that be the only fucking map of the night where you can tell we're nervous. And after, like, months later when I was getting VOD reviewed and I brought that stream up, it was the person I was VOD reviewing with said, I can tell you guys were really fucking nervous going into this, because, like, not only was it like, hey, we're casting on the OW Esports Twitch channel, but there's also 10,000 people there, which blows out of the water any amount of people that the number of people that me and Hunter have casted in front of before.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the same. I mean, the main channel as well is. I mean, that used to be the Overwatch League channel. That's. Yeah, I would have no idea. As a caster, that must be so much harder than observer, because you can sort of hide it, and maybe you click on someone who's dead by accident, but people short memories. But as a caster, I don't know how you hide it.
The observers they had for that have been people that have been around for a little bit. Hell, the observers were the BPL people. It was BPL crew. It was Solomon crew. That's who normally does all the Face It broadcast. When it comes down to playoffs or promotion relegation, much like what happened with promotion relegation this past season with Face It, that was ran by BPL. That was Solomon's, he calls it his white hat productions, where they don't say it's a BPL led production, but the clean feed is on BPL's channel for that game. But like, they have been doing it for a very long time, and they've always kind of been going to that, so they're used to that kind of stuff. Me and Hunter, we were not ready. We were not used to it at all. And then we had an entire night, 5 series of map 5. games.
Yeah, I just went
Yeah.
I just went on the tournament page, and it's like 3-2, 3-1, 3-2, 4-3 grand finals.
Yeah.
3-2 in the
So
lower bracket. Yeah.
so because I remember the games we did. I know the last game we did was
We followed
Midoriya
Shikigami.
versus
We followed
we did
Midori, my bad.
we followed Midoriya. I know we did the last game between them and Emote Down Mid. I know that was our last game that we did. Did we do Uni Academy? Was that also we did Uni Academy and Midori, but we did one other game that wasn't Midori.
I'm gonna pull it up because I need to see it as well.
What was the third
Wow,
game?
Midori had 4 back-to-back map 5s.
No, they had
Yeah.
like 7 going back to the regular season.
Yeah,
Crazy.
they were the map 5 team, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
What was it?
So, because I remember this, the upper bracket first round was not streamed. That was done a day before.
Yeah.
So I think we did Emote on Mid and Dreamland.
Well, you can click on the little thing and it'll tell you. No, not that. No. Try the upper finals. I think we did. Didn't we do upper finals?
Yeah.
We sure did.
Oh shit! It does tell you that. I know we did lower finals was Tiny and Jesse the next day. So then there's this one with Shikigami with Midori and Emote on Mid. I know we did Midori and Uni Academy, which was another map 5. And I also think, did we do this one? No, we didn't do that one.
No, we just did those 3 games, but they all went to map 5. So we did 15 maps over the course of we were there for probably about 6 hours from start to finish. With obviously just breaks in between, but still.
It was we started at 6 p.m. And I think we got off at 11:30, and then me and Hunter came into this call and talked for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, you just had to be okay, that just happened.
But here's your observers. You probably recognize a lot of these names.
Yeah, I know. I've never actually worked with Solomon before, but I'm sure at some point we will. But yeah, that BPL crew is pretty good. All of their streams look pretty clean, at least from my perspective.
Side note, I like it how it's really funny, just with looking at our real names here, how difficult mine and Hunter's last names are to say compared to Tiny and Jesse's.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised. That's an auto Wikipedia thing, right? If you have your name attached, it just puts it in brackets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Cry and Orange. I don't think they like sharing their actual name, so that's why it's not there.
I think only my first name's on mine, which I'm very, very proud of getting. How long ago did you guys get yours? Because I know that for co-streams,
is it Mag British?
That's, yeah, there's you can see where Alfie got mixed up. Yeah, slightly different total winnings as well between the real Mag. There's $17.
Big money.
Pay the bills.
I love it. Just 17.
Average tier 2 salary.
Yeah, well, no, I'm one of the richest tier 2 players alive, actually.
No, well, you haven't heard? NA expert players are getting paid like $300 a month.
Yeah, let me get the GIF. I have the GIF. Don't worry.
Yeah, but
let me find it.
No, getting back to the nervousness of it, it's a very interesting thing because, doing the first time, I would say I did I think it was a Tranquility cast. I was really fucking nervous because I was shown that was the first community league I was shown by somebody. It was like, holy shit, I'm fucking casting here now. I couldn't believe it. And then it's I joined CGL, I joined BPL, and there's the little nervousness going into it because I think just for me, just going into it was these are brand new people. What in reality, it's just the same people, just in a different place.
Yeah, I think for me, I've never been, obviously if you know that a stream has a ton of viewers or you've just been raided or something, because I think Commander X was, I think at one point he peaked above 5,000 viewers, which for only a few of the games had real OWCS teams, and none of them were actually OWCS versus OWCS. because of the nature of qualifiers. So it kind of didn't have a crazy big appeal. But for me, the high stress games have always been when it's like a higher level, you know. So if it's sort of a NA, like a CGL Diamond or CGL Masters tier, even if that's a really intense playoff game, for me, I'm able to just watch it and chill, or if it's a show match, it never really bothers me, even if it has, you know, quite a few viewers. I did one with a bunch of Douyin, which is like Chinese TikTok versus Team India a while ago, which
Oh yeah, I
Senji
remember that
won.
one.
Yeah, and that ended up one of my friends who lives in Manchester, but's from China, sent me like a 40-minute long Douyin, really high production value video that I couldn't watch because it's Douyin's blocked. But it had like a crazy amount of views, and I didn't know. But sometimes there's like smaller streams with Quick where it's like Quick win this to guarantee themselves promotion relegation, that I'm like really, really emotionally invested in. And I kind of get nervous, like a player would get nervous in that moment, rather than maybe there's a ton of viewers, maybe you're working with a new prod, maybe, you know, something different. For me, it's always been about the context of the game itself.
Yeah, and like you talk about that as well here, and you talked about it a little bit earlier on as well with the nightmare stuff. Like I like me and Mod both talked about after that second day where they got knocked down in the lower bracket. Like we talked about, like we were actually really fucking nervous, just about that entire thing. It's like you're invested into a team which throughout the majority of the regular season, at least with me and Hunter, it's like, hey, we're not invested into any team. Like, we're just here casting it. We just want to see good games. We just want to see good teams. I know Mott was working with Leica for the majority of the season. Hunter was with the Fallen for a little bit there. But it was like, it's different now considering how high of like I think it was how high of a pedestal, or how high like everyone kind of looked at Nightmare, because you look at all the predictions that that we put out, and you got Parker who's asking OWCS players to put out predictions, and everyone's just saying, oh yeah, Nightmare is gonna win this. It's Nightmare or not. Like, you had one person, and thank God for Nenwai, because they picked Dark Mode to win the entire thing, and I think they saved everyone's bracket essentially. But it was like it was like you get invested into it. It's like you want to see this team do good, and like, yeah, I want to have an extra day. I want to cast another day. So if they lose in the lower bracket finals, kind of sucks. But it's like you could tell there was a lot of pressure taken off everyone after that lower bracket grand finals, where they were able to lock into the promotion relegation, and not even just the players, but everyone on the broadcast staff as well. Is like, hey, it's like we can now have some fun with this, or more fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the Masters Grand Finals. I think, by the way, I'm happy I had the opportunity to do it, but it is fucking crazy that that's just left to co-streamers, when these are like, I mean, Extinction didn't make it, but Extinction's like a World Cup team, more or less, and Nightmare they beat Crazy Raccoons before. They're almost a shoe-in. I mean, maybe unless you ask Nenwai, they're like a shoe-in for OWCS. It's crazy that was left to just co-streamers to do.
This was the first season that it was like that, I think, in a while. And it's like, I mean, we've talked about it in the past privately behind, you know, closed doors, and I'll say it here. Like, you can kind of tell something was up with it when you start like, and this is nothing against him, but Bullskunk was kind of acting a little weird. And I think both me and Hunter kind of hit on it right away. Is like, oh, they're probably not doing an official broadcast for Basic League playoffs this season. And because like Bullskunk was acting just kind of down on it, because normally he's really excited at the end of seasons, because there's the main broadcast. He normally does EMEA and NA, and it's a big thing for him. It's a big thing for any of the casters that work that. But they just decided to only do the promotion relegation stuff, which again I understand. It's the second it's the last season of promotion relegation, but it's like I think they in for Face It, they kind of the schedule was just so convoluted. It's like, we're gonna have the Face It Grand Finals one day, and then you're doing promotion relegation the next, and they didn't want to have 4 straight days or 3 straight days of a production that's kind of expensive for them to run at times.
Yeah, especially the games because they didn't actually run all of promotion relegation.
Yeah, they
Because
only ran the what? They only ran the final 2 games or the final 3
yeah,
games?
um
Final 2 games. They
final two,
did
yeah.
lower finals and grand finals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I remember me and Mock and the Nightmare Prod covered that upper finals game, the one that locked them into OWCS. It's like, hey, that's our last one. That was it right there, and they locked in. It's like, that's it for us. Go watch the official co-stream here.
Yeah, it is rather crazy that a team that came second place in Masters and got to play for relegation never got an official stream, aka Extinction.
Extinction, yeah.
After all that, never even got to an official broadcast. That
I mean,
that is something.
it's crazy as well that Nightmare qualified behind closed doors, basically.
Yeah.
It was up to. I mean, I was so sad I couldn't be there for that last day because I'd been doing all the days up until that point. But the fact that they qualified for OWCS, that should be like, when it's the off season, that should be like the biggest thing there is, And it just sort of happened, and then they streamed the like Nothing Burger Grand Finals to just decide, I think, scheduling. Like it's just for who has to play who.
Yeah, it's their
in what
seeding
order.
thing.
Yeah.
And that gets streamed, but they should play the grand final behind closed doors and then do at least the 2 qualifying games.
Yeah. Yeah, like they should have had the final 3 games of it rather than just the final 2. Because if you have the final 3, then it's like, hey, you have the first team that locks in, you have the second team that locks in, and then you just basically have that for fun game that only determines seeding. Again, it's like there's a lot of things that maybe you could get mad about with Face It, ESL, and Blizzard, and that might be one of them. And the fact that it also is like, hey, on the official stream, you were seeing like here's the bracket. Nightmare's already in the grand finals. It's like it still took them I think another hour and a half to say, oh yeah, Nightmare locked in to OWCS. Even though if you knew what was going on, you already knew they did. But it was like the official announcement took a little bit.
Yeah, you have to be so on top of things to follow Tier 2 and OWTV. As they're all volunteer run, and I think they try and do a lot of the Faces stuff. I'm less involved now than I was before, but I know that for every team that gets added, someone's got to go manually into the back end and add every player, add every player's nationality, add every player's join date and leave date, logos for all the teams. Every tournament has got to have a different bracket set up, and it's so much that Liquipedia does do a pretty good job of it, but I feel like the amount of time my Liquipedia usage has gone up so much over the years, and that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
It should be just on a stream in front of me, and Liquipedia should be for like finding out details of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I would like to continue this. I do want to get to the second part of the main question that we normally ask everyone, and it is what keeps you coming back to do stuff within esports and esports production here, Mag?
Oh, just the amount of money that's into it too. I would have to say it's just boatloads of money that they keep throwing at it.
We are Scrooge McDucking ourselves into all the money we make every morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just love Overwatch. I have done. It's now I've been around longer. I know some of the players. I know some of the teams, and like seeing Dip, I was screaming from the rooftops how good he was while he was still playing in Face It Masters, and they finished like 4th regular season. And I think people looked at me like I was a bit crazy. And then now to see how good he is and Johan didn't qualify, but Johan is still so much better than I think people say he is. It's cool to see for me, it's like the players. I think orgs and teams can, people from orgs come and go, and it's kind of like a ship of Theseus thing where Quick Esports now has the same owners and most of the same people, but the core roster's changed, the manager's changed, a lot of the prod has changed, and it's still fun. I'll still do streams for them, but like the Nightmare players, Painkiller and Lep and Jutsu and Peace, and it's a really bad look that I forgot the last player. Who am I forgetting? I said everyone, right?
Do you say, yeah, there's only 5 players. Did you say virtual?
Virtual. No, virtual. I remembered my favorite furry.
I was going to say, I can't believe they let a furry in OWCS.
That was so funny. All 5 of those players, I've got a fan in me for life, and I'll with pride be like, if Painkiller gets onto a good team and goes to a LAN, I'll always enjoy doing that. And Golden Pants, before Golden Pants was in OWCS, I remember watching him for like one of the 2 games he was on Quick, and just being blown away the first time I saw him. Like this guy is one of the most talented people I've ever seen, and now obviously he's sort of breached into, I guess you could say, tier 1. But yeah, for me, it's the money first, and then it's the players. That would be my answer.
The money, a wide gap, wider than all the amount of money you have, because it's that much money.
Yeah.
The players, and then the money again.
Yeah, and then third is all of the money. Yeah, it's too much almost. I think they should cut back again.
Okay, let's not go that far.
Oh my God.
Someone might actually believe what we're saying here.
Can I ask the same question of you? I mean, casting, I feel, is probably a little bit more of a demanding job than observing. And if you have a commitment, observers, I can pull out and find another observer fairly easily. Whereas I feel like there's probably not as many casters you could sort of be comfortable with plugging into a big stream. What keeps both of you coming back?
I think, like, I won't speak for Hunter, but I think we'll have the same one, and it's the most common answer that we normally get for this. And
money?
Yeah, the money. Dude, fucking, like I said, every morning, jump out of bed, it was straight into all the money I've made from it. Have to swim through the coins to get to my shower. No, it's kind of like what you said with players, where it's kind of the same general answer that we've gotten from a lot of people, where it's just the people that we work with, whether it is those players, but it's also like the observers, the producers, the admins, everyone that you work with. You just start to make a lot of friends, and it's like, hey, if this person's working this, then I'll gladly come and help them out, because I like working with them, but I also look at them as a friend. So it's really a lot of times the people. And much like you said, you love Overwatch. I love being able to come in and cast Overwatch, and hell, I cast Rocket League. I love those 2 games. I love being able to come in and give a little bit back to the game in a weird way through casting it, because it's something that anyone can do, but it's always a big thing of like, do you actually push yourself to do it?
Yeah, like I have answered this plenty in the past when this kind of comes up, but yeah, I mean, it is about the people. I think something I've realized more this year than any other year is I also like to do it to push myself farther. Like in past years, I don't know if I could have given that same response. Like this time last year, I probably wouldn't have even mentioned that part. But nowadays, it's kind of like okay, how far can I go with this? What is the extent at which I can reach? How far can I push it before my body is like, hey, buddy, you need to stop. You need to take a break. And Dex knows as well. The first half of my year, I was a nonstop locomotive, and only in recent times have I actually slowed down a little bit. I'm like, all right, listen.
This is the slowest he's been this entire year. Like, face it's over. Like, this is the first time that Hunter, again, I might be putting words in your mouth here, but I think this is the first time this year where you have not cast in a week.
Probably, if I had to guess, probably, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Hunter went really hard into this year with a World Cup stuff, and much like you met Senju, you worked with Senju, Hunter and myself worked with Senju. It's a big thing where, especially like, we've fallen in love with that South American region, and just because there's passionate people down there and passionate players who don't get that much recognition at all. It's really fun to go down there and not go down there, but broadcast that region, one that really does deserve it, because there's some really good talent there still.
Yeah, 100% there is. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy that we get to meet so many people and be able to do that. But I feel like I have to be very honest with myself and honest hourly, saying that I do it to try to like push and see how far I can go and how good I can get at it. And I haven't met my full limit yet, I don't think. I remember I had the one weekend where I was like, hey, I have like 7 things scheduled in a single weekend. And I think I tallied like 30 something maps I did that weekend. And I remember sitting afterwards and talking to Dex like, dude, I need to stop for a day. Like a day I need to take off. I took a singular day off. And then
I think we did the podcast the next day. And then
yeah, that's why.
Yeah, we did the podcast the next day on Monday. And then it was like, okay, well, hey, we were talking about potentially doing a game on Tuesday. And it was like, I have everything ready for that. I signed up for it. Are you down? He's like, I'll let you know tomorrow. And then it was like, yeah, no, he needs a day. And then we were planning to do our normal thing on Wednesday. And he was like, yeah, I need another day. And I was like, I completely understand. 30 maps in a fucking weekend is insane.
Yeah, like I'll just show like, because luckily I did the thing of actually tracking my cast. I'll just do everything from like this span of like these couple of weekends within like February and March, just for some perspective. That is in the span of probably around close to 20 days, I think, maybe like 25, somewhere in that range. Lot of shit. And this is like 95% World Cup stuff. There's a random CGL stuff in there too, but
yeah, this is
that's like
that is about 20 days.
Pretty much daily. Yeah. I think. Do you find that sort of one? I'm just looking at this. Do you find that maybe one best of 5? I mean, some of these are tryouts, which would be like 6 map scrims, right, or 5 map scrims. But do you find that one, let's say 5 maps in a day, every day for like 7 days, is worse than like 1 8 to 10 to maybe 12-hour long, super long, maybe open qualifier Swiss day? Because
I think it's dependent, because like in the instance of like, oh, if I sit down and do like the Team Turkey like tryouts, like I sat through like a double block of that, so for like 4 hours straight doing that, as opposed to like, okay, we do like the conference cups, like we do one game, it's like, all right, we have time between this and the next game, so there's time to recover. I can throw it to a break, I can do whatever. I got time to do a break in those tryouts for like 5 minutes in between blocks. And that was it. So I can appreciate having like a Swiss format where it's like, okay, I have time in between stuff. And because there's multiple streams, clean feeds to look at, you can also jump around if you really want to. So you can choose to break. You can also choose to just be a nonstop locomotive. You can choose either one. So I kind of like that freedom in deciding like, hey, do I need to take 5 minutes to get a drink to chill out for a second?
Yeah, I guess the only thing with like scrims is at least you know when they end. Sometimes it really sucks if you're kind of maybe not feeling it, and then you go into maybe a grand finals or a smaller tournament, and you can just see that it's close, and you're like, oh, this just reeks of a map 7.
Yeah,
me last night with BPL.
Oh, was it? Oh.
It was a 7 map series that by the time we actually closed the stream and everyone started leaving, we had been in the call for almost 3 hours.
Oh, that was the Elvish game, right?
Yeah, it was C League BPL Grand Finals. The series itself, I think, took 2 hours and 35 minutes, and then there was another 15 minutes of us breaking it down and us talking to both the teams, the entirety of both the teams, not just one player from the teams. Like, no, all the players came into the fucking call to be interviewed. And then after they left, it was okay. Let's break it down again. Make sure that everyone knows there's still more games happening this week because everyone in B League and A League was doing Face It fast track promotion this past weekend, so couldn't participate. And I will say this: knock on wood, and a lot of the BPL people really pissed off at that. Really pissed off that there were enough teams that basically said, "Yeah, we're just gonna forfeit because we can't be here." That they said, "Fine, we'll let you extend the season." Really mad about that. But I think a big thing with this as well is like if you know it's gonna be a long day, I think you kind of mentally prepare yourself for that kind of thing. Where you go into a grand final series like that, it could be, hey, it's over in 4, and you kind of like are at a certain point in a series, like you see a team performing very well. It's like, okay, we've already been here 45 minutes. They're up 2-1. They're winning this map right now. I kind of hope the series ends in the next 20, 30 minutes here. Yeah. Because like only doing one series, it's like, we started at like, let's say we started at 9. I'm looking at the clock. It's 10:30. I want to get to bed. I have to wake up at 5 the next morning to go to the gym and go to work after that. It's just like, I kind of hope it goes fast. But with these other things like the Turkey A tryouts right there, where it's 12 maps, Hunter knew going into that, like, hey, this is going to be long. I'm wanting to do both. So you mentally prepare yourself for something like that. And it's like, yeah, at the end of it, you are tired, but it's not like as tired as if he would go into that thing. Like, okay, maybe it's only going to be like 5 maps, maybe 4, and then that's it. And then just knowing how long it's going to be I think is the main difference with how like exhausted or tired you get during these casts.
It's fine when you know stuff ahead of time of like, all right, I start this thing here, this thing there, and that thing there. And so you can kind of determine, all right, this is when I can kind of take a moment to chill and take a break and fully relax because having like an hour or two, it means way more than some people think. To have
definitely.
that amount of time between things, like that is plenty of time to like rejuvenate yourself, get yourself back and like to 100%. And be able to recommit in a situation like that because there's when you do that much in a day, you have to give yourself time. You absolutely have to.
The reason I bring it up is one because this is like the craziest schedule I've ever seen. I've had my portfolio up, and like almost all of my stuff is on weekends, but I don't think I've ever had like stuff for more than 3 Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is crazy. That's the most amount of stuff I think I've seen on the on what was up on the screen earlier. But I had sorry, I when I was doing the Commander X thing, because that was just open qualifiers over 2 days, I went back through my YouTube live for the clean feeds, and YouTube, you might know, cuts off VODs at 12 hours or like 12 hours ish. So that the day one was actually longer, but some of it's missing. I think one best of 5 is missing. So yeah, that was like 13 hours into 10 hours. And it's fine because there was a sort of a 2-hour gap in between it, and Commander X gets Overwatch esports raids pretty regularly, so he can afford to pay his observers. So
Yeah,
it's not too bad. And obviously it was super fun to do. But yeah, I remember like I slept for so long because obviously the stress, there's a bit of pressure with so many people, and it's 13 hours into 10 hours is a lot. And yeah, I think I must have slept like another 10 hours Monday morning for that. But I definitely find doing like when Faceit schedule stuff, you end up doing a game like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you have another thing Saturday, Sunday. I hate that and would much rather do like 3 or 4 games in a day rather than sort of a tournament that's maybe one tournament here and then other games split over. I'm 100% down to do one long day.
Yeah, I went back and looked at my thing that I written down for basically the same days that Hunter had for the most part, and it's kind of the exact same thing. A couple other ones thrown in there, but it's just like you kind of get into a groove and just don't necessarily know. Like you could like right here from February 20th to February 28th. That's more than one cast a day, and I missed a day on February 23rd.
Something wrong with you guys.
It's
I just love it, man.
this one was this one was funny because like the 21st was a really funny day because like, oh, hey, look, Team Chile tryouts. I did that with Hunter. Okay, gotta take a break to go cast Rocket League for one series, and then hey, I'm gonna come back and cast a friendly show match between Costa Rica and Puerto Rico with Hunter.
Yeah, and that was like my break time too. And it's like, all right, buddy, see you in 2 hours.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, even it's weird because even the same thing, the same time period. I mean, sort of, I don't know what was in the water early, late February, early March, but just while they're all up. These are all I separate mine by all the games. So those were all the games I did over a similar period. It looks way more, but that's because there's like 15 or so games in 2 days.
Right.
But yeah, I did that, and then the next weekend, Heroes of Tier 2, which was some issues behind the scenes, but otherwise a pretty fun tournament. Met some cool people.
Did you meet Hunter?
I said I met cool people.
Oh,
Hey,
Hunter.
listen,
Sorry.
listen. That's not even the first time we worked with each other. You brought up a game earlier.
When was the first time? Was it Copa America?
No, not even Copa. All the way back, back in May with you talk about the game with Team India and Boundary Breakers. Yeah. I think that was the first time we actually worked together in like a capacity like that.
Oh yeah, because it was. Oh yeah. So I'm going back through all this. I feel like you guys, because obviously I watch a lot of Tier 2 and Tier 3 stuff, even if I'm not working on anything. So you guys have been in my like, I've known you as casters for ages, but it's and because I'm so used to your voices, like I think the first time I worked with you, it doesn't feel like meeting someone for the first time. I get parasocial with Tier 2 casters.
Oh
Hunter,
man.
he knew you way before he did.
Apparently,
that can't be the first time. That's so recent. That can't be the first time we worked with each other.
I mean,
well, I guess
there's like I did a day of Heroes of Tier 2. I know.
You did the grand finals.
I did. I mean, there was CGL stuff before that, and maybe it happened at some point. We did last year's Copa. Are we down? Are we down for
2025?
last year's Copa? Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, I did that one
But
as well. I was the only
but
observer for all the games.
you were, but I don't remember if that was one where actually, I could probably find these.
I think
VODs.
that Copa
But
was still the one where
did we have clean feed or did we?
We asked to be put into the lobby because me and you were having a big problem with the clean feeds, especially you, because at the time your internet sucked and you could not run the clean feed and run your stream.
This one, I thought this was the one where, because I was the only observer that they had listed for the tournament, so I did literally every map of every game for that tournament. But I know that William does some wizardry with spinning up like a Portuguese broadcast and a Spanish broadcast. So I could, and because I don't speak any Portuguese, and he speaks a little bit of English, but not like enough to sort of have a conversation about prod stuff.
Yeah, we know.
I kind of let him do it. Yeah, I let him handle everything. So I was kind of just chilling. I think maybe I don't think I was in a VC with anyone. I think I was just like on my own, just watching all these games. Maybe Maybe
You
I'm
go,
crazy, but that
yeah, I
was
was gonna say, I think that would almost make you go insane and just kind of sitting there like saying, I think I'm doing a good job. No one's telling me otherwise. I'm kind of just
definitely
here.
some of the. Well, it was the first time I saw Elemental Guy because he was on Mexico then.
Mm.
Um, and Canada had like some of the Dill Ducks people on it who I had met previously, and I think the United States was just Iliad Artemis.
Yeah, you had. I don't even think like you had. I like this is gonna sound really mean. I think you had like essentially the D or E team for the U.S.
Oh yeah, no, it was like it was cool to see like the US versus Canada, but it wasn't like that was it was maybe E or F team for
Let's
it,
just
but
keep
I mean, still
going
incredibly
down
good
the
players,
alphabet. Yeah,
far better than me.
far better than everyone in this podcast right now.
I mean, better than people would think.
Yeah,
in
oh,
terms of who's
absolutely,
on there.
absolutely. I think
Wait,
Iliad Artemis as well because
yeah,
they're not
Yeah.
super known and they've only been good sort of more recently.
but wait.
Definitely like
We have to get this out though. Hunter, we've beaten the Dill Ducks.
Yeah, we have beaten the Dill
what?
Ducks.
Okay, this
we've
is
beat.
this needs an explanation.
This is a lore drop.
This is Hunter fucking looking at Face It randomly after a cast one night. And it's like, hey, they're doing a community tournament right now. Let's just fucking sign up and see what happens. And it's like, for the longest time, the team that we had was like the only team signed up. And there's like, oh, there's another team. There's another team. Why the fuck did the Dill Ducks sign up? And then there's only like 4 teams at the end who ended up signing up for it. We got paired against the Dill Ducks in the first round, the single elimination thing. We joined lobby. I forget who it was in there, but they basically just said like, hey, yeah, I'm the only person here. One person's asleep and the other 3 are hungover.
that's the Dill Ducks. That's
So
I believe you 200% that's and that's actually what happened, you know. Whoever that was wasn't joking. Shoes Prod Crew 3-0 the Dill Ducks.
Yeah.
Now they're being
we earned that.
being Jacobs.
And we got to play in the community clash because of that.
Really
that was
fun.
A lot of fun.
That was
a really fun day. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think that does outpeak me as a player. I didn't really enjoy playing with I played on a team called Galera, and they were all it was like a friend team, and we only ever played Ryan, Sim, May, and you know it's maybe the most European comp you could ever play. Bap Lucio, with Ryan, and it was really fun to play and just TP around the map and hold shield and then speed on people and then sort of we worked with Coach Cuffy briefly. Yes, thank you, mate. Thank you.
Yep.
We worked with Coach Cuffy very briefly. That was actually from a Galera scrim. I remember. And it was a lot of fun, but the sort of availability was too bad because we weren't a serious team and we would scrim sometimes, but the best result we ever had and was I believe it was 8th in advanced. Sorry, 5th to 6th in advanced. Which doesn't sound too great.
Sounds good.
No, it's better than anything we've ever done.
But the only team we lost to had Herluff, Bro Player, and Elias and Envy on it. Which was the only game I played. And we got 3-0'd. But we then didn't know that we got auto signed up for next season because we got top whatever in advance. We qualified for expert, but we didn't play at all.
Oh,
so I believe my prize, the prize money that's attributed to me on Wikipedia, was from a season. I'm desperate to find it.
Your prize money is just your Face It pass.
My prize money is from a season where we didn't play. Yeah, season 2 of Advanced. was so bad. It's actually they've taken it off of my Liquipedia because we didn't play. We forfeited every single game going 3-6, but we got top 8 of advanced because our face at Elo was higher than the other teams. So we would win. We won 3 games. We didn't play a single game. None of us even turned up or had the game open, or none of us were really playing. We were all focused on like university. So we managed to win 3 games, go 3-6, which was 8th, qualified us for the dead last in advanced playoffs. Where we forfeited against DSIA with the team with Alvacate and Mickg, bizarrely. And then we went to the lower bracket and we forfeited a game against Team Denmark, which was not Team Denmark, except they did have a very young, like 16-year-old Rav.
What?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Hunter, what the fuck?
And that attributed to $50 of prize winning, which we did get paid for. We got paid because we were auto signed up and we forfeited our way into I'll send the link. You can.
That's so good.
You know, we didn't play a game, but we did get prize money. But yeah, they did send us. Fair enough to face it. They did send us our money eventually.
Eventually.
And some of the teams are so weird. Yeah, our roster doesn't count.
Did not field a complete roster by the roster deadline.
But so that incomplete roster did get paid prize money. And then yeah, if you look at Team Denmark, it's just like a bunch of Danish like friend players. And Rav, who was, who hadn't come good yet. And then DSIA had a really weirdly good team. And they didn't even win. They lost to Ure Mirai. I have no idea. 3 former contenders players against some tier 3 players. Who knows what happens, but they did legitimately play a grand finals.
Here's the entire team is Spaniards.
What happened?
Yeah, I think I don't know if that regular season link works or if it like is annoying and takes you, but if that takes you to the page, yeah, you can see we went. There we are, 3-6 without season records go to season 2, and you can see all of the games we won were forfeits. Some of them say 1-0, some of them say 3-0. Oh, we got a bye week, sorry. So one of our wins was a bye, and then we just out FF'd 2 people.
Out forfeit 2 teams is really funny.
And we, for some reason, got a bye week despite never playing.
How the fuck is Mew3 here?
I have no idea.
What
did they end up being? What team is that actually? Overview. Oh, that was Ure Mirai. They renamed.
Oh yeah.
Wait, line.
Apparently, it was their first season.
Yeah. I don't. I don't. It's just better to not think about it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think over time they changed their like core roster slots out, and then when you have a master spot, it's so valuable. You just keep moving teams around it. But yeah, that's. And then playing with Zox was really cool. That was during Brig Juno meta, so it was like between me and him to decide who the better support player was. Who would play Juno, I think at the time was like considered the more difficult one to play. I might be completely making that up, but I'm pretty sure Juno was more difficult and Brig was quite a bit easier because you just sort of frontline brawled. And at the time, my favorite fact that I will tell until the end of time, they ended up putting me on Juno, which forced Zox, who was a flex support player, and I'm traditionally a main support player, he had to start playing Brig, which I like to think kickstarted his career, leaving flex support, going to main support, which has led to his involvement in probably winning a World Cup. So I would like to take some credit for that. And also immediately after leaving his team, if you pull up his Liquipedia page, because this is a really nice guy, incredibly good player, really, really talented player. I mean, you could tell instantly.
Is it XOX or ZOX? Was it
ZOX? Yeah. So you can see if you go to like his extended results, oh wait, yeah, on here, all the way down, you can see he comes like 29th. Yeah, with BT, it was a team called Black Tide. We went 6-3. He leaves this team to go back to Saudi Elite for Vision. And if you click on that page, this is a LAN
The
somewhere
Saudi
in Saudi
one?
Arabia. Yeah, that one. So this was like a month after we did pretty badly in Swiss. You can see that he beats that Twisted Minds team at LAN. So whether you think I was weighing him down or not is up to you. But it was a pretty crazy upset. I think he had like Top Dragon and Donghan, but by no means was he carried to a win. I mean, look at Twisted Minds and look at his team. So yeah, this was a month after we got like 30th in open qualifiers. What do you think? It's the jury's still out on who the better support player is. I would like to think.
You should message him and just say like, hey, I still think I'm on par with you.
I did after he won. I did message him because I believe he won finals MVP as well, which I messaged him after and he was like crying. He was so happy, and it was awesome to see him have success. And I'll always root for him. And then I think he unadded me on Overwatch because he forgot his day ones. He got too big time for me. So that's
MVP.
Yeah, and this is like like one of the stages of the Saudi tournament. So the prize pool I think was pretty good. I think it was like 1K each for them.
Yeah, 20,000 at least SAR. 50,000 SAR, which is about 13K USD.
Yeah, that's like 5K for winning up more or less.
Yeah.
But yeah, really nice guy. And then he was on Gen G for a bit, which is really weird. Completely forgot about that. He's on Gen G with like Mag and Exodial. The other Mag, he's been on a team with 2 Mags.
He's just collecting mags at this point, man.
Yeah, there's gonna be another. I'm sure there's gonna be another Saudi player that comes out of nowhere called Mag, and I think he'll get the trifecta, and he will have truly completed Overwatch. That's sort of. I think a lot of players dream to play with both of the Mags.
All 3 of the mags now.
Yeah, there will be. I have seen another Mag in ranked before. That wasn't the Korean one. So there's another one out there. If they're by some chance listening to this, we gotta get in touch and make something happen with the roster core of me, the other Mag, and the Korean Mag. We gotta make a team.
Just the name of the team. Oops, all mags.
Oops, all mags. Yes, this has got to happen.
Okay. All right, but I think we're at the point now where we're going to start wrapping up the podcast here. Hunter, here we go.
Yeah, it is indeed my go. So usually I ask people, why do you decide on the handle you have, and whether it's Mag, it's like, okay, I want that answer. But then when I got into this call and I saw at Xbox, what?
Xbox Man 08 2026 27.
I feel like there's a story there, and I want to uncover that story, Mag. So please tell us the deep lore of this name.
So the Mag one, genuinely, originally this account was an alt account, and it was just I have no real story for the name. It just was named Mag, and then I connected my old Xbox account up to this account, and I just started playing on it, and it became my main account. But the Twitter handle, it's worse than you think. I made that account on Microsoft Edge for Xbox One, where I created that Twitter because I wanted to upload clips that I had playing on Xbox to my phone, and because I was like, pretty young, I didn't have an Elgato or any real software to get it off, so I would just upload it to Twitter and then download it off Twitter. But I didn't have a Twitter account, so I just made a throwaway account to upload those clips on, And I couldn't think of a name, so I just thought Xbox Man, and it said that's taken. Would you like Xbox Man 08202627? And I was like, fucking obviously, yes.
Please.
And then I got into playing, I got into production. Eventually, people ask, for your Twitter, and you just talk about stuff, and it's sort of like a weird LinkedIn, I guess. And then I would tweet maybe some questionable rage bait takes on Twitter,
Oh, I can't
which
wait to
was
see these
always
now.
good fun. Oh, some of the it'll take me a second to find it, but yeah, it was made on Xbox, never really intended to be used for anything. But it ended up sticking, and now I think I'm in too deep to change it. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, I tweet the same. So there's I don't know if you know the player Varsity in NA Flex DPS. I don't think they play anymore. They posted a clip of them like dashing into 5 with Genji Blade and getting like 50 CCs in a row, and it was just a funny clip because he just ins with Blade. It's completely his fault. And I posted, just because I was bored, some like 5v5, 6v6 arguments. I would really try and stoke the fire by pretending that like this was me on Genji, and like the game sucks because I jumped into 5 people and got killed. And it worked so well the first time. I posted the exact same tweet, word for word, video for video, 3 separate times. And I put it in general, and each time it just works. It's just a format. And there's about 500 replies over all of them. Just pure hatred.
Time for you
stupid.
to post this again right now.
Well, my pinned tweet on my Twitter is that I'm not going to tweet because I kind of wanted to stop using it because it's not ideal to use Twitter too much. So my pinned tweet is that I'm not going to tweet again until Admiral, who's my favorite player, until he wins a major event, whether it's World Cup or a LAN. He's not going to win. I love the guy. I think his team's a bit too poo to ever win. But Sweden, I think this is his best, maybe last chance to ever win anything. So who knows? Maybe after that I'll go on private and I'll bust some of these out the locker. For all time's sakes.
Can't wait to see the day that happens, or else, I mean, hell, if it doesn't, then their account just gonna kind of die there slowly.
Yeah, I've committed to it. I mean, I tweeted it so long ago. I've committed to it. The Xbox Man name will soon be a memory. I tweeted it June 19th, 2025, and I genuinely have not tweeted or retweeted anything since.
Yeah, I know. I just took a look at your Twitter account. All right, but we have one more question for you before we get going here. Normally this is asked by Megalass, but I think something came up, so she couldn't come up today for this one. And we just want to know what grinds your gears about esports. Now, you could. She has a nice little line, like nice little things she always says, where it's like, the pettier the better. Let the hate and vitriol kind of flow here. What grinds your gears about esports?
I thought that's a fantastic image.
Thank you.
That's a good question.
I spent minute on it.
Oh yeah, no, I can I can see the craftsmanship. That's a good question. I mean, it's probably the same reason I love esports so much, which is some of the players. Without getting into specifics, I think there's some players or managers who sort of don't, I think, are too accepted, shall we say. Some players who have had, maybe there's a Google Doc about them, and they're pretty horrible people, and yet they're still sort of accepted and kept within the scene. Again, it's hard to talk about without like naming specific people. But,
yeah.
When you hear stories about people, even things that are maybe things that are even private, or that were never brought to social media, it sort of kind of bothers me knowing. I think we can say, I mean, this one is well known, but the finals of the South America Masters.
Connie.
Yeah, I mean, like, really, that you keeping that guy around? You're on a team with that guy. Like, it's I will not be able to look at a player the same if they, especially if they're not calling it out. I think the duty to call those things out are on the players themselves. But I mean, there are so many more, and I can. It's just not something I can ever look past in a player, especially because I think some of these people are very young. They're sort of, especially if they get quite high up quite early, they're sort of not sort of kept in check. And I think that's the job of your teammates and players and managers. And when that's not done because perhaps they're too good to let go of, that I find that really disappointing. And some managers and players that I've previously liked have sort of soured on because of this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean,
that would be my.
And I mean, I'll give a little bit of a peek behind. It's like if you go back and watch the end of the South American Grand Finals, it was, and like you can hear me and Hunter when we're talking about it just at the end. It's like we weren't necessarily the most excited about it. It's like because Connie's there, and granted, the rest of that elemental team missing team played great, but it's the overhanging or the overlooming shadow of Connie and what Connie has done, and the fact that still it is accepted to play because he's unfortunately one of the better players in the region, and it's a hard thing to just try to dance around as a caster without just saying like, hey, we're gonna straight up talk about this. And you don't never necessarily want to do that in some instances because it kind of sours the mood and kind of makes it feel like you're being very much one-sided.
Yeah, there's a time and a place, and also you don't want to take away from the other team that are also there competing, that are totally innocent, and you don't want to sort of start a hate train. But I think that's not a caster's job; that's a player's job. And if that's your teammate, you spend a lot of time with these people. These people in and out. You should absolutely not allow this to happen. And I think some of these people probably know who they are but don't care because they can get a good result. You can win Face It Masters by not caring. So yeah.
Also, the thing a little bit on the orgs as well to do your checks on your players, especially with Elemental. I mean, Elemental has a lot of teams in a lot of different regions in every region. Team missing though, coming in very last minute was just kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like Element. I don't really know what they do or what they add, but who knows? One of these like YFP or UScrim teams where it's just like I guess I don't know what's up with them, but
shout out like YFP. I hate YFP. Like they came into Face It for one season, and you could tell they really tried to say like, hey, we're gonna put all of our eggs into this basket. This team's gonna make OWCS, and then when they didn't even say like, hey, here's a goodbye. It's just like they just fucking left. They like not even like, hey, we're letting go of our team when we're backing out of Overwatch esports here, but we might look back into it later. It's like, no, we found like the players tweeted that the team just straight up dropped them.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who probably shouldn't be in the positions that they are, especially with such big teams and people's contracts. These are like young players that maybe don't a bit more naive, and you could argue that you've sort of taken advantage of players who don't quite know how the system works and haven't had the experience yet. And, but I guess there's no real structural way to change that, and let's face it, we're to change the rules. But that obviously brings its own problems. So it should be on the players. The players should know better.
Yeah, and
it's a shame that it happens.
I remember when all that stuff came out. I mean, like, it was during the World Cup stuff at the start of the year. And you did see Team Brazil did say, hey, he's not going to be a part of this team anymore. And he was like, I think everyone basically looked at it as like he was a shoo-in to be the starting tank for Team Brazil. And then that goes, it's like, okay, well, now I need to find a tank.
But I think, with the greatest respect to Brazil, not having, maybe you're not qualifying is maybe not the most realistic goal, but obviously you want to put your best foot forward. But, I would be very disappointed if, Team UK, as far as I know, all the top UK players, pretty chill people. But if there was someone on Team UK who was perhaps really good, but not the best person, I would be quite disappointed if they were, representing me, and I would think worse of the players for not stepping up and saying something, or because I think the players hold all the power at the end of the day. They're on the rosters. They're the ones, playing the game. If a World Cup team straight up says no, I'm not going to play with this person, then if it's after the roster log, then you just have to forfeit or play off roles. It's the players definitely can do it, and I think they should do it more. That's what grinds my gears, Megalass. Thank you for the question.
Always here in the spirit. But I think that's where we're gonna wrap up this episode here over the 2-hour mark. I can tell Hunter is getting tired because he has to get to bed here very soon so he can wake up and go to work in the morning. Meg, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was awesome to have you on this week. Hunter, thank you as always as well. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to this episode of For the Love of Prod. Make sure you tune in next week for another great episode of For the Love of Prod. And as always, you'll figure out who the guest is when I do. But until then, hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next week, y'all.